Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena gratitam Purana Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayani Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidutsura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo namaha. Hari Om. My humble prostrations to you all. Today we are beginning the 15th chapter. It is Puja Bhagwan's grace and Puja Gurudev's blessings that sitting in each of our own family room at home, we are able to get this knowledge. It is all because of the Guru Shishya Parampara that is flowing for thousands of years in India. That's why this dharma is called Sanatan, because it's not only thousands of years. In every yuga, even maybe thousands of yugas have passed, where there is the Satyuga, Kali Yuga, Dwapar, and Treta Yuga, and thousands of such yugas have passed, but this knowledge is eternal. It was there right in the beginning. So before we start the 15th chapter, I heard a very beautiful description of the word Shastra. You know, we chant at the end, Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvyat Samvade, and we did the one Chaturdasho Dhyaya Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. So Yoga Shastra is Shastra. One is how one brings this knowledge through and brings it yoga. Yoga means attached to Bhagwan. This Brahma Vidya, how it can be brought in our life, and our mind can be always attached to the higher. The other very beautiful meaning I just read with another Swamiji about Shastra. It says that anything to be called a Shastra. So if we are saying this 14th chapter is a Shastra, or like we are starting 15th chapter and it's called a Shastra, to be called Shastra, it should have 9 things. 9 things. If it is not there, you cannot call it Shastra. So what are the 9 things? I'll enumerate them and then we'll repeat them. So these 9 things must be there in anything to be called a Shastra. So one is there should be a student. And here we have Arjuna, the student. There should be a teacher, which is Bhagwan himself, Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Then they should meet, which they did because Bhagwan was his chauffeur, was his charioteer. So the meeting of the student and the teacher has happened. Then, what is the message of this Shastra? Tat Tvam Asi. That, first of all, Tvam, who are you? So we think of you as this individual, male, my name is Anil, and so on. But what is my true nature as Atman or consciousness? That is Tvam Pada in Tat Tvam Asi. That is in the Upanishad. And Tat we consider as God. Here it is Bhagwan Shri Krishna. But what is the essential factor behind which is the origin? And that is Brahman. And that is one alone. That is the same Brahman in you and me, and in the plant, and in the animal, and in the Devtas, everybody. Even Bhagwan, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, even their essence is that one Brahman, that consciousness. And Tattvam Asi. And in that way, me and the Ishta Devta are one, because that alone has expressed in everything. So we got 6, student, teacher, their meeting. Then Tattvam Asi. We got 6. The 7th one is, if there's any counter, somebody says, I don't agree with all this you're saying. Or somebody has a doubt. This is not clear to me. So that has to be addressed. So that is the 7th. 8th is, after having got this knowledge, what are the sadhanas I should do? What are the practices? How should I change my life? Because if my life doesn't change, then my studying is useless. So that is 8th. And the 9th is, how does a man of wisdom who has this knowledge, somebody like Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, or Swami Vivekananda, or Raman Maharishi here, how does such a man of wisdom called Jivan Mukta live in this world? So if it to be called Shastra, it has to have 9 things. Student, teacher, they meet. That, consciousness, and thou art. All three should be there. 7th is all the doubts raised and any contrary arguments should be answered. Appropriate sadhanas, exercises should be given, how I should live, and how a wise person lives in this world. We say, is it there? Yes. In the 15th chapter, all these 9 are there. And there are 3 more. Jiva, Jagata, and Ishvara. Who am I? At this vyavaharik level, at the transactional level, who am I? Who is this world? Who is the creator? And how was the world created? So there are 13 main factors in these 20 verses. See, Bhagwan has not used 80, 100, 200 verses. This can be actually expanded to the entire Bhagavad Gita. So the 15th chapter in 20 verses has all this. Anything you want is in that chapter. That's why, and also it's very short. That's why in Chinmaya Mission, for any time you go to a camp or the acharyas who are studying, before every meal, they chant the 15th chapter and they have to memorize. So that is the first chapter that Neeru and I memorized. So I would request each and every one of you that you should know this chapter exactly word by word. Get Puja Gurudev's commentary, read it, know it word by word, and if possible, to the best of your ability, memorize it. because there is no, I know I say that for every chapter, I'm sorry, but there is no other chapter in the Bhagavad Gita like the 15th. And Gurudev, he says it in his commentary, and everywhere in Chinmaya Mission, they chant the 15th chapter before every meal. So this, in brief, is this glory of this beautiful chapter. And I'm so blessed and privileged to be able to share this with you. It is because of the knowledge like Friday and Saturday, I pick up different commentaries by different acharyas, and it is all I'm doing is parroting. I'm just repeating. It's not my knowledge, it's Bhagwan's and Pujya Gurudev's. So that is the 15th chapter, which will contain all of these. It will contain the student, the teacher, the meeting, Tattvamasi, what are the sadhanas, what is the counter arguments, how does man of wisdom live, and at our transactional world, who am I as this body? Who is this world I see, the mountains, the trees? Who is the creator? And how did creation happen? So 13 topics we will try to address in these 20 shlokas. Now, how does this 15th chapter connect with earlier chapters? Bhagavan Sri Krishna makes very clear that there is a very clear connection between each chapter, the end of the chapter and the beginning of the next chapter. So the 14th chapter ended with Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So one who remembers me with undivided devotion and serves me and worships me. Worship means brings me in every action. And that me, so when Bhagavan says me, he says, I am not me as son of Devaki and Vasudev, but Brahmano hi pratishtha sam prapasthaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya dharmasya sukhas ekantikasya cha. I am the Supreme Brahma himself manifested, and the immortal, the immutable, unchanging. And in me and in these teachings, you will find the Shashvat Dharma, this Dharma that has been going on not only for thousands of years, but thousands of yugas. It is unparalleled, it is millions of years. Not to compare to anybody else, but most other religions, they started like with a one particular prophet who came and gave the teachings, and that is very good and people follow. But we as Hindus, we are proud that we belong to this Sanatan Dharma that was there even when creation first started. So we should never think ourselves to be inferior to anybody or that our religion is inferior, not to brag or boast, but to have pride in our culture. That is what Puja Gurudev said, that I want every Hindu to be a better Hindu. I want every doctor to be a better doctor, every lawyer to be a better lawyer, every housewife a better housewife, every businessman a better businessman by getting this knowledge. And the 15th chapter is also connected with all other chapters. In 10th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Tadami yug buddhi yogam tam tena mam apnuyanti ted. I will give them that supreme knowledge by which they will come to me. And what will I do? Taham aham ajnana jam tamaha bhasayami atmastha jnana deepena. So this darkness of ignorance that they have, I will remove with the light of knowledge. And I will give them buddhi yoga. I will give them the right knowledge by which they can come to me. And in the 4th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna had said, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukriti norjuna arto agnyarti jignyasu jnani cha bharatarshava. O Arjuna, there are 4 kinds of devotees who come to me. One is Arti, who comes for freedom from sorrow. Artharthi, who wants wealth. He says, Bhagavan, make sure my money is going up, my business is doing well. Then the third one is Jignasu, who comes to me with a desire to know, ठीक है, let us see Bhagavad Gita में लिखा क्या है, just out of desire to know. And the fourth one is Gyani, who comes to me, for out of love, doesn't ask for anything else, doesn't ask for freedom from sorrow, doesn't ask for anything else, but asks for me alone. But he says they are all very dear to me. He says they are all very good, but Gyani is my own true nature. So not that one shouldn't ask God for anything, but ultimately one should go to God asking for God himself. And that's what this 15th chapter will teach us, how to approach God, how to know God, how to become one with God. Another special feature of this chapter is that there is no Arjuna Uvach. Arjuna does not ask any question. Bhagwan is so inspired with the end of the 14th chapter where he talks about bhakti and who I am. He says, I need to expand. So the whole chapter is Bhagwan's direct words, which he feels that we need to know who Bhagwan is and how I can do avyavicharena bhakti, single pointed devotion. Shaku can repeat after me. Please unmute. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Panchadashodhyayah.
Atha Panchadasho Adhyayah.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Urdhva Mulamadashakham.
Urdhva Mulamadam Sakham.
Ashvatham Prahuravyayam.
Aswatyam Prahuravyayam.
Chandamsi Yasya Parnani.
Chandamsi Yasya Parnani.
Yastam Veda Savedavita.
Yasam Veda Saveda Vite.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Panchadashodhyayah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Urdhva Mulamadashakham. Ashvatham Prahuravyayam. Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. Yastam Veda Savedavita. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. We bow down to Bhagwan Shri Krishna, who is the manifestation of that supreme Paramatma, the supreme consciousness. So we start every chapter by bowing down to Bhagwan. And it is Atha, now it is, Bhagwan says it is Panchadasha, 5 plus 10, it is the 15th Adhyaya chapter. So we are starting the 15th chapter and it starts with Shri Bhagavan Uvach. Bhagwan Shri Krishna himself spoke. Uvach is the past tense, but Uvach means long time ago he spoke, because Bhagavad Gita is thousands of years old. So that's why they are using the remote past. Bhagavan Uvacha, what did he say? Urdhva Moolam. The root is up. Urdhva means up. Moola means up. The root is up. Adha Shakham. And the branches are below. Shakham is the branches. They are below. So root is above and branches are below. And it is said to be Ashwatha. It is the Ashwatha tree. Prahuhu. Who say? The great rishis. That's why Bhagwan all the time says, Rishi bhir bahudha gitam chando bhir vividhai prithaka. What I am telling you is not anything new, not what I came up with, has been told by the rishis in the Vedas, in all the Upanishads. So they have said that this Ashwatha tree is avyayam. It is immutable. You say, wait a minute. Tree has root in the bottom and branches above. But here Bhagavan is saying, no, the tree has roots above and branches below. So it is an upside down tree. So tree is doing Shirshasana, as it were. So how can such a tree exist? So we'll talk about it. So there is a tree which the roots are above, branches are below, but it is avyayam, it is indestructible. Every tree we find in the world destroys. It stays for 10 years, 20 years. General Sherman has stayed for 2,500 years. But eventually every tree perishes, but this is said to be avyayam, imperishable. And Chandamsi are the Vedas, Yasya Parnani, its leaves. The leaves of this tree are the Vedas. And Yas Tam Veda, and the one who knows this Yahatam Veda, one who knows, Sa Veda Vita, he is the knower of the Vedas, he or she. So Bhagavan says, there is this upside down tree called, it is the Ashwatha tree, with the roots are above, branches are below. It is immutable, unchanging. The Vedas are its leaves, and one who knows it is said to be a knower of the Vedas. So let us see how this tree can be upside down. So they say that the reason it is upside down because the origin of the tree is Bhagavan himself, the Brahman, the supreme consciousness. And what is this tree? This tree is just this world. This world is a tree. And the branches are different parts of the tree. The branches are said to be the devas, and then it's spread out into the smaller branches, and the leaves, which we can say all of us, or we say are the Vedas. And why do they say up? Because Gurudev in his commentary says it very beautifully. Up, one meaning is that it is higher than us. It is higher. Like we say in a high command, the chief medical officer is the highest, or the CEO is the highest. His office may be on the ground floor, but we say he's on top. He is the leader of it. So that is one meaning of up. Also in the family tree, if we see a family tree, your children may have asked you to make it in, so they say, what was my great grandfather? Then, he had 2, 3 children, then it branches, then grandfather, then father, all their children's uncles, aunts, and then us and all my cousins. So it starts from one great grandfather and great grandmother. From there, it branches out. So similarly, from Brahman alone, this world has emerged. And these branches are said to be the devas, the gods, and then it divides into sub-branches, which is the rest of this world. And the same way in our body also, if we look at it, the head is the highest, and then the hands and legs are like the limbs, like the branches. So this metaphor can be translated into so many different ways. And why is it called Ashwatha? So Gurudev and all the acharyas give many different commentaries. One is Ashwa Stha. Ashwa means horses, Stha means they were stationed. So horses were tied under this tree. But another meaning which Shankaracharya ji gives very beautifully in his Bhashya, Ashwa Stha. Shwa means tomorrow. Stha means stays. Means does not stay tomorrow, will not be there tomorrow. So what he means to say is this world is constantly changing, constantly perishing. He says, what do you mean constantly perishing? I see my friend yesterday or last week, and I see her today, she is the same. No, she is not the same. The friend you saw a week ago has changed. So many of her cells have changed. Her mind could have changed, her ideas could have changed, her emotions could have changed. This world is a world of constant change. Like if you are taking a bath in the river, can you ever bathe in the same water? No, the water keeps on moving. Like Ganga ji comes from the Himalayas, constantly a new water is coming. So you are bathing in new water. One water is gone, the one you took a bath. Even in your shower, can you bathe in that same water? No, the water comes, goes, water comes, goes. So even though Ganga ji appears eternal, that she was there thousands of years ago and even today, but it is a constantly changing eternal. See, there is one eternal called Brahman, which is always present, changeless, and eternal. That is Brahman. But Prakriti is eternal but changing. You understand? It can keep on changing and still be eternal. So this world is eternal and Brahman is eternal. Both are eternal. Avyayam. But Brahman is changeless. This world is changing, constantly changing. That's why they say all our cells change in 7 years. In 7 years, a new individual is created. All my muscle cells, bone, fat, liver, pancreas, blood, neuro, everything changes in 7 years. So even though it is changing, I don't feel myself to be changing, but we do, our hair grow, have to go to the barber, our nails we have to cut, and we see changes in our body, wrinkles coming, and all those things are happening. So that's what it says. It is said to be avyayam, not that it is not changing, but it is eternal. So this world is avyayam. That means it is changing but eternal. So that is a difference between Brahman and Prakriti. And Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. So we took the meaning of Ashwatham Avyayam, Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. The Vedas are said to be its leaves. Why are the Vedas said to be the leaves? Because the leaves, in a way, are everything is important, but the leaves are said to be the most important part of the tree. Because what do the leaves do? First of all, they cover the tree, right? If you have a tree without leaves, like we see in the winter, it doesn't look nice. But beautiful green leaves covering it, or in the autumn when you see yellow and red, in the East Coast, all the colors, it looks so beautiful. So the leaves beautify the tree. But the leaves are also very important because they create chlorophyll. And the chlorophyll is what gives energy to the tree, because it takes energy from the sun, green, converts it into chlorophyll and gives energy to the tree and gives energy to us. That's why when we eat these vegetables, fruits and all, the green leaves are the ones that bring energy. Even the fruit, where does it get energy from? From the leaves. And science tells us that the leaves also pull the water and the nutrients from the earth. And there is a tubular system where the leaves actually pull the water and the nutrients from the ground, from the roots, through these tubular channels to the leaf. So the leaf is most important part. And the leaf is why the tree is existing, right? To give life. But how are the Vedas said to be the leaves? Because the Vedas give us so much. First of all, they tell us dharma, what I should do, what I should not do. How to live in the world is explained in the Karma Kanda portion. How to live in the world, what to do, what not to do, how I should live my life. Then it gives us the Upasana in the second portion, how I should worship God, always remember God, and then bring God into all my actions. So the first two portions are called the Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda. And the third part is called Jnana Kanda, the Upanishads, which connect me to God. So the Vedas are said to be its leaves, because it's only through Vedas that this knowledge that we have has come down for thousands of years. And the Bhagavad Gita is a summary of the Vedas, the essence of the Vedas. Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna has milked the essence of the Vedas and given it to us in the Bhagavad Gita. Another beautiful meaning of leaves I just heard from another commentator. It was very different. It is very practical that we should consider each one of us, we are all a leaf, each one of us. But what we do is we start thinking, I am different from that leaf. I am more green, that leaf is getting old and wrinkled. That leaf is dirty, I am clean, I am bigger, that I'm smaller. And I care about me, I don't care about the other leaves. But we are all connected to one root, right? Each one of us is getting nourishment from that same Bhagavan. So even though I think I am separate from others, we are actually one because the origin is one. So that's why one should not consider that I am separate leaf from the other leaf. Everything is one. There is only one Brahman, only one tree appearing as all these leaves. Not only but even in relationships, like between husband and wife, children, families, that's why we say we belong to one family. That's why our pledge of the Chinmaya mission starts with, we stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. What it means is this whole world is Vasudeva Kutumbakam. That's what Bhagavan Sri Krishna says. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. It is very hard to find a Mahatma who can see this Vasudeva as one. Talking about family, so this husband and wife were invited for dinner to a friend's house. And husband had got ready and he was waiting. And that day, for some reason, wife took an hour to get ready. He was waiting for an hour. And she came out after fully dressed with all makeup. And he said, you took an hour and we got late. We were supposed to go to the friend's house at 7 and other people, and it's already 7:30. So she says, oh, okay, we'll go. But your tie doesn't match. Go change your tie. So he says, yeah, that's true. So he goes and changes his tie, and then they go to the party and they ring the bell and the hostess opens the door. And the wife says, sorry, we are late, but my husband was not ready. so, so, so these differences come when I think I am this body, but I have to know that the essence of all is one. That's why they say Pindanda and Brahmanda, between the totality and the Jiva, there is no difference. I am, everything that is in the universe is in my body, all the 5 elements, air, space, fire, water, earth. My mind is connected with the total mind. My intellect is connected with the total intellect. My vasanas are connected with the total creative factor, Prakriti. So actually, whatever is in me is in the universe. Whatever is in the universe is in me. So that understanding should come from this tree metaphor, that we are all connected, we are all one, and the origin of everything is Bhagwan, and that one Bhagwan has manifested in all. That's why Guruji in his Narad Bhakti Sutra says, which is very beautiful, several episodes. Niru has heard all of them. I haven't heard that many. But he says it very beautifully. He says, you cannot love God and then dislike anybody else, because Bhagwan is himself in all, everybody. There is only one Bhagwan, one consciousness, and the ability to see that is the work of the Mahatma. And why does he see that? Because he's always connected to the root. He always knows I am Brahman and this world is an illusion. And whatever is happening, yes, it's good and bad. It is there, but at the highest level, it does not affect anything. It is useful at the karmic level. If I do certain karmas, I will get the results, good or bad. But at the highest level, the Mahatma who has become one with self goes beyond all these. So that is the essence of the first verse. We'll do now the second verse.
Also, the vriksha can be cut down.
Yeah, that will come later on. But yeah, Neeru says it also that the reason they have mentioned vriksha, because vrikshanat iti vriksha, it can be cut down. And that Bhagavan will explain in the third chapter, third shloka, how to cut down this tree of samsara and how to get detachment. And we'll talk a little bit about in the second shloka and in more detail in the third shloka. Probably we'll do it next week. So shloka number 2. अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः
अतर्चोदं प्रसुता सप्तस्या शाखा
गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः
गुणा प्रभूता विषय प्रवालाः
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि
अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि
कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके
together अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके. So further he is giving the description of this tree of samsara, and he says adha cha urdhvam. Adha means below, urdhva means above. So below and above. Prasrita. Prasrita means all spread out. Phaile hue, spread out. Tasya. Tasya means of this tree called Ashwatha tree. Ashwatha is the people tree. And the beauty about it is that there are downgoing branches, which he will talk about, and further trees can be created. Actually, sometimes they mix this with the banyan tree, which is the one that has the lower branches. But the idea is the world has multiple sub-creation, and we see that people keep multiplying, animals, plants, everything keeps multiplying, the world keeps growing. So adascha urdhvam prasritaha tasya shakhaha. Of this tree, what are the branches? The branches are spread everywhere, above, below, in all directions. And we see that in a tree, especially a fig tree, it spreads all over, all over from side to side, and even actually goes downward when the figs are growing because of the weight. So this tree, how is it nourished? As we said, the tree is nourished from the ground, but in the case of this world, which is compared to a tree, how does this world go? How does my life go? Guna pravriddha, by gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, which comes from the vasanas. Because of the vasanas, I have taken birth. I have a particular body I have got. And because of my karmas, if I have a healthy or an unhealthy body, the family I am with, the situation I am with, it is all because of my karmas. Even the fact that we are sitting and discussing, we must have done some good karmas, and Bhagavan's grace is on us that we are able to sit together and study this. So, guna pravriddha, it is nourished by the gunas, propelled by the gunas. And Vishaya Prapalaha, Vishaya Pravalaha. Vishaya means the sense objects are the buds. What do we mean by buds? Bud is where another branch will grow. So through sense objects and because of gunas, this tree continues to grow. And then what happens? Adhacha, and below mulani, the branches, anusantatani, they go downwards. So the branches from the branches, little twigs go down, 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 enter the soil and make another tree. Anusantatani. So same way you and I also, we go either up or down, and we'll talk about that. Gulani anusantatani, and what happens? Karma anubandhini. So following the karmas, according to the karmas, anubandhini also means bound by these karmas, we get caught further and further into the ground, where Manushya Loke, the seventh case, in this world of human beings, called the world of mortals. Mrityu Loka, it is also called, Manushya Loka, it is also called. So from this root, the branches go above and below, they spread out due to the gunas and due to the vishayas. You and I also, we get caught in those. And then we get further caught when we put roots in our ground. Like we say, you know, I have put my roots in this place. Now I can't move. Like we feel, okay, I have made my roots in Bakersfield. Now we can't move, even though our children are in different places. They ask us to move there, but we can't because our roots are in Bakersfield. So bound by our karmas, by our roots in this world, we are caught. So why do they say Manushya Loke? Because in this world is the only opportunity to go up or down. We have a choice. Human beings have a choice. I can do good actions and go upwards, maybe a better birth, maybe evolve spiritually, maybe become a deva or go to heaven, or maybe even realize, like, you know, all these great masters. So in the human life, I have the opportunity to go upwards through right knowledge, through bhakti, through service. And that is very important. Karma yoga, giving back more than what we take. Bhagavan tells, Gurudev tells us, give more than what you receive from this world. So doing that, I have the opportunity to evolve, or I have the opportunity to go down. I have a free choice. You know, youngsters, they take up drugs. Oh, it's my free will, my choice. Yeah, you are making choice, but you are going downward. And so if we do wrong actions, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, anger, greed, jealousy, selfishness, and so on, then I will go downward. And then not only this life will be bad if I'm living a life of anger, greed, jealousy, I'm not going to be happy, but my future lives also I am jeopardizing. So I could end up in lower worlds, even end up in lower yonis, be born as a buffalo or mosquito or, you know, hippo or, you know, anything, dog, you know, snake. So in human birth, only we have this opportunity to go upward or to go downward, and the choice we have to make. And the fact that all 25 of us are here and we are talking this Bhagavad Gita, we have made the right choice that I want to go upwards. So that is called Adash Urdhvam Prasritas Tasya Shakha. You can go up or down. And what makes us go up or down? Guna Pravriddha. They are the secondary branches, means the gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and the vasanas I have acquired. So they say substitute negative vasanas with positive vasanas. If I have a desire, turn the desire towards God. If I have love, not only love me, myself, and my family, but make it universal. So, guna pravriddha vishaya pravala. And the sense objects are the birds, because as I get fascinated with this object, I go to the mall and I see this I must have, you know, this particular sari or this suit or this shoes. My closet is full, but objects bind us. You know, I must have this, I must have that, I don't have this, somebody else has more, and we are always competing, always. So what it does is it binds and creates more desires. That's why they say bud, you know, a bud can create more branches. So as we get bound to objects, it creates more desire, creates more bondage. And these are the thought channels that lead us in that direction. Just as in the tree, there are channels which from the root bring the liquid all the way to the leaf. So you and I, we have thought channels, and we get so caught in that I must have it. How come she has it? I don't have it. How come this? This person is more successful, I am not. Ultimately, the only success that is measured is how close I have come to God in this life. That is the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. How much I have served the world. That's why Guru Dev said there are two goals of life: self-realization and Jagat Hitaya. So how do I live my life? Realize the self and Jagat Hitaya, serve the world. Those are the only two goals of life that are worth living. But when our mind is all the time outside, then what happens is our consciousness leaks out. Our pranas leak out and our energy leaks out. Like somebody binge watches 6 hours of TV, their eyes are leaking out, or listens to 6, 8 hours of music. People have this quadraphonic earphones. You find these two youngsters, 6 hours, 8 hours. So what is happening is through the eyes, your energy is leaking out. Through the ears, it is leaking out. So all these pranas you are losing through all these, or talking too much, spending too much time on the internet. So the how do you, and we see that also in cruises. Cruises is the best place to see that. You wake up in the morning, you have a full breakfast. And do I have to wait till lunch? No, there are snacks available. You can eat all day. The food is available 24 hours. So between breakfast and lunch, you can have a huge snack. You can have drinks. Some of the cruises, I don't know, but they used to have unlimited drinks. You can drink as much as you want, sit by the pool and enjoy, all day you are eating, drinking. And at night, do we stop? No, night they have casinos and they have shows. And so whole day and whole night, that's all we are doing, indulging our senses. And then they said, and when you come out back to the port, they have an ambulance to take you to the emergency room because you have eaten and drunk so much. Now you are in serious trouble. So they have ambulances waiting also. So the point is that is how we live our life, with indulgences. And that's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, just as a turtle, kurmonga niva sarvasha indriyani indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna pratisthitah yada samharate chayam kurmonga niva sarvasha. So withdraw the senses. I don't need to see this. I don't need to hear this. I don't need to waste my time. I should spend my time. Withdraw the senses inward to Bhagwan. And that is what we do in meditation. You detach from the world and turn the attention inward. So these pranas which have been lost outside, this energy, in meditation, we take all the energy inside. I should not see anything, hear anything, think less. Even thinking wastes so much energy. People sit and think and worry and plan. I'm equally guilty of that. I am a planner. I plan next week, next year, next decade, next life. I have planned everything. So we waste so much energy in planning, thinking, or worrying. Oh, my son is gone. Wo khana kha raha hoga ke nahi? And is he taking all this grand? We just worry unnecessarily, and that is all wasted energy. So in meditation, when you sit and when you turn your attention to the self, then this energy goes inward and they get nourished. The pranas get nourished, because when it contacts God within, that is the source of all energy. That's why after you get up from meditation, you will find your mind is very quiet and you have contacted this inner energy. You become more productive, you become more, and such a person then has very little interest in senses. I'll tell another story of Saint Teresa. I mentioned her many times. But one time she was meditating, and this is a true story, and she was holding a candle in her hand to offer it to Jesus. And she got so much lost in meditation that she completely lost touch of her body. And it is said the candle, it's a difficult story to listen, but the candle burned down to the bottom and her fingers got burnt. She didn't even feel the pain. She felt nothing, even though her fingers were burnt with the candle. Only when she came out of her meditation, she said, "Oh, my fingers are burnt." So that is what this meditation does. It takes our energy from the sense organs inward and connect to God's presence within. That is what we say in meditation. I withdraw my attention from whatever I'm seeing. I close my eyes. That's why they say meditation should be done in the morning when there is less noise. Do it individually in a private room. Close the doors, close the windows, close your eyes. Of course, some meditation also can be done later on with open eyes, but in the beginning, close your eyes, watch
Moving
your
all the
breath,
senses.
because by observing the breath, your mind slows down. So the mind which is racing outward into planning and doing, slowly by breath control, by doing some simple breathing, not, you don't have to do excessive pranayam, but just observing the, what they call anulom vilom, observing the in and out breath, the mind is slowly quietened. And then this mind's attention and the intellect, which is running outward, planning, thinking, slowly you tell your mind and intellect, this is not the time to plan. This is not the time to think. It is the time to focus on the Lord. So slowly the mind's attention, which is at this moment out into the world, what am I going to do after meditation, and what are my plans, and what am I going to eat for breakfast, and all those, and what is my kid doing, and all those, slowly the attention from all these objects. That's why they say guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha. Our senses are propelled outwards by our vasanas, by our desires, by our gunas. So slowly the attention of the mind, which is outward, is turned inward to who I am. And that is God's presence within. So slowly we detach from the world of pleasures, because it is the world of pleasures that is pulling us outward. And we say, at this moment, I'm not going to think about coffee. I'm not going to think about breakfast. I'm going to think about Bhagwan, the self. And that's what yesterday we heard the chanting, Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. So if you know any particular shlokas, you can just chant even one shloka, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that, Shivoham Shivoham, any of these shlokas, Brahmoham, Advaita Ananda Rupam Arupa. So any line even of this meditation, even Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham, even one verse of Nirvan Shatkam, if you can memorize beautifully, it is given by Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, and then contemplate upon that shloka, meditate upon it, and say, I am that immortal self, and I was never born, and I will never die. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit, Bhagavan says in the second chapter, that Arjuna, you, me, and all of these, we were never born and we will never die, because our nature is immortal. So I am that immortal self is the goal of meditation. That is the focus of meditation. So slowly we detach, and how to detach, we'll talk next week. Detach from the world of objects and hold on to the higher. So that is the process of meditation. You quieten your mind, quieten your senses, and pay attention to who I am. You don't have to still your mind. You don't have to make your mind zero, but fill your mind with that one thought alone. You can do that even through chanting of the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So chanting the mantra, you quieten your mind and focus on who I am. And that one shloka that you have memorized, or one line or one sentence, focus on that. And ultimately that mind will get stilled and become one with that self. And then that you can try to maintain as long as you can. The mind will run out, you slowly bring it back. Mind will run out, you slowly bring it back. So that is the process of meditation. The world will be there. The world will not change, but at least for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, as long as I can sit, my attention should try to be inward. So that is the process of meditation. I thought I'll go over that because that is what the world is. The world is this tree. Its branches are, all these devas, these gods. The leaves are the Vedas, or leaves are each and every one of us. And the root is above. Bhagavan is the root, and the branches are this whole world. And it is going upward or downward. I have a choice whether to go upward or downward. And how I live my life, withdraw from the senses. I don't need these objects, but I need Bhagavan. So that is the essence of these two shlokas and what we talked about today, how this world came into existence. That's why I said in this 15th chapter, everything is there. Student is there, teacher is there, knowledge is there, you are that is there, how the world was created, what is the origin. All those 13 factors are there in these 20 shlokas. Many of them we have already covered today. Some of them will be covered in subsequent shlokas. That's why the 15th chapter is said to be a complete Shastra. In 20 shlokas, everything is covered. So I'll end over here. Beautiful verses, beautiful chapter. We have plenty of time. If anybody has any questions, comments, anything you have read from Gurudev's commentary.
Also, I think
you would-
Gurudev said that unknown can
Thoda
be known.
जोर से बोलते हो।
Unknown can be known through the known. So that's why he gives the example of this tree, that is known. So that is what.
Yeah. So Neeru said the unknown can be known through the known. So see what is known and pay attention to the unknown. What I see is what it is, and pay attention to the focus, the source, the origin. So that which I don't know Bhagavan. I mean, I know him, but I don't know Brahman. I don't know the origin. Where did it come from? So through the known, you go to the unknown. So through the manifest, you go to the unmanifest. What I see takes me to what I do not see. That's why Gurudev says, what is Shraddha? Believing in what I don't know so that I may know what I believe in. So right now I don't see it, but if I have belief in it, then I will see it, I will know it. So that is Shraddha. So this 15th chapter will tell us that through this known, I go to the unknown.
Or through this changes, we know the changeless.
Yes.
Because the world is changing, but
Right.
there has to be a changeless
factor
on which these changes are happening. So
Right.
that also.
Yes, thank you.
tells us.
Yeah, so the changing world, and pay attention to the changeless factor. Even when I am changing from childhood,
we were.
youth, middle, I was constant. So what is that constant? That is the focus of this. And the one consciousness is the changeless factor on which this whole world is changing. Thank you. Thank you for those comments. So on this changing world, find the changeless factor, just as on the changing river, you find the river bed, which is the substratum, the support of the river. So similarly, of this whole world, Brahman is the substratum. Anything else?
I think another example I'm thinking of is the movie. How the movie is not, it is different, pictures are there. It's not, but it looks like it is one.
Looks continuous, right?
Continuous.
So she says the movie looks continuous.
Even
but
though it is just a one picture.
Right.
Video, if you see it on your phone, there are so many, like 20 pictures are there, but they keep showing like this.
Right. Right. So the substratum is the phone. On the phone, all these videos are
Like
changing.
on the screen.
On the screen, everything is changing. So on that substratum, This whole world is changing, but appears continuous.
Yeah.
Just as the movie appears continuous, the video appears continuous.
Because the speed is so
The
much.
speed is so fast. So same way, this world appears continuous, but it is ever changing and ever broken up. So through these changes, my attention should be to the changeless substratum, that which is the origin of this universe, that which is the source. And that is me. That is my essential nature. I am not separate from Bhagwan. Bhagwan is manifesting through me. When I understand that, then my actions automatically will become divine. If Bhagwan is functioning through me, how can I do negative actions? So that is the practical application of this. Any other thoughts? Lata, you have any questions?
Anilji, the first 10 points you have said, I missed out a couple of them. 13 I could get.
Oh, okay. So first is the student.
Hanji.
Second is
And
the
teacher.
teacher. Then they meet. That is the third factor. Then the six are Tattvam Asi. You are that.
Yes.
That
I
is
got
six.
it.
Then seventh is when there is any counter, anybody is opposing or anybody has any questions. That is the seventh, Purva Pakshi, or somebody has any doubts. Eighth is whatever the sadhanas I have to do to reach that. That is number 8. And number 9 is how a man of wisdom, a Jivan Mukta, lives in this world. How a man or woman who has become one with God, how does he or she live? That is number 9. And then there are 3 more, Jiva, Jagata, Ishvara. At the worldly level, me, the world, and the creator, and how creation happened. So 9 plus 4 is 13. So 13 factors are covered in this Shastra, in the 15th chapter. Some of them we already saw, others we'll see as the chapter goes on.
I still didn't get 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, 4, 5, and 6, that thou art. Tat Tvam Asi.
That means
that consciousness and you, that consciousness, are one. That is 4, 5, 6.
And 3, 4, and 3 you said Tvam Masi, Brahman.
No, that is 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3 is student, teacher, and how they meet.
Okay, thank you.
1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Lata, anything you would like to ask? Want to add anything?
No, but I always have question and I still do. Mula roots are just so many, and you are bringing that God is one. So oneness we have to see. So it starts with one and then spreads out into many. Is that the?
Yes.
So when I'm picturing, I mean, I know this is a picture in the mind that I see all these roots up there, but I don't see the one up there. Is that something I have to go beyond my imagination to see that one in there?
No,
just
just look at the finger moving. That is Bhagwan. Bhagwan is in me, and that is one. Why do we have to look somewhere up there? Bhagwan is right here. This finger is moving. Why? If God was not there, I wouldn't be able to move the finger. I wouldn't be able to talk. Why do you need to look anywhere? Look. मुझको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, ना मैं मस्जिद, ना मैं मंदिर, ना काबे कैलाश में. I am neither in the temple nor in the masjid. Now I am in Kailash, nor I am in Kaaba. I am with you as the life of your life, the breath of your breath. And that is the origin. So, and that is one. And we don't need to look anywhere or find anywhere. I am that.
But when you create that picture in me with that description of the first shloka, and I am visualizing that in my mind, I am looking at all these roots like up there. Right. But where am I seeing the origin? Why am I mean, is that for that I have to transcend my BMI to see that origin And then it spreads out. I like the idea of family tree, by the way, you know,
Right.
because then it from one, you know, all these families have come, but it united with some other.
Right, right.
And that's how it is.
Right.
So
No.
But
it's
that's
always so
in
in the picture, when we picture in our mind, because it's so, once you understand the meaning of it, it's beautiful description of something that is upside down, and it will never, my limited intellect will never comprehend how that happens. That's
Yeah.
what I.
Right. No, very good analogy. So try to picture that from this one consciousness has emerged this whole universe.
we did
So
that
this
in 13th chapter.
in the 13th chapter. So from that one consciousness has come this whole universe. You and I all have originated from that one. And when it is said above, it does not mean it is somewhere up in space. It is the higher authority. It is the higher, and through meditation, as you said, when you transcend your BMI and you understand, that alone is manifesting, and that is the purpose and goal of meditation. Thank you. That's true. That's why the tree Bhagwan has told, because the tree we see all the time. So he wants us to think this is an upside down tree. The roots are above,
Roots are the one which
and
are supporting.
the limbs are below. Ronnie, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. This is my first class and I've loved it so far. But the tree analogy is really appropriate because I'm looking out the window now and I'm seeing the leaves are moving the most, you know, and sometimes that's me. Like you said, the leaf is me, and often my mind is moving in many different directions. But the root, what I think of the root is I think of complete stability, you know, like that core. No matter how bad, you know, no matter how much life is moving different directions, that core is rock stable. So I like the idea of really visualizing that tree, Bhagavan, which is invisible to many of us. We forget through the daily, you know, struggles that we face. But now, you know, as I think of that core, that stability, I think that brings some peace of mind. So thank you for that beautiful analogy.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome to the class. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
And Angie,
Good to see you.
welcome too. Thank you. Anything else you would like to add, Ronnie? Nothing else? You're done? Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
yeah, that's good. That's
Geeta
great.
ji,
Thank
go
you.
ahead. Yeah. You have a question? Go ahead, please.
हाँ जी, हरिओम भाई साहब।
Hariom.
हम जब प्रार्थना शुरू करते हैं तो शांति मंत्र बोलते हैं, ओम सहना भवतु। इसका जो शॉर्ट में मतलब मुझे बताएंगे, इफ अगर आपके पास टाइम है तो प्लीज।
Sure. Sahanavavatu sahanau bhunaktu. So, oh God, the teacher and the student at the beginning of any class, we chant Sahanavavatu sahanau bhunaktu sah viryam karvavahe. So together, student and teacher are praying to Bhagwan that may we study together, may we understand this knowledge, may our mind be clear, ma vidvishavahehi, may we not misunderstand each other. So that's why all the dual case is used. The teacher and the student together pray Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karvavahe. May we have the strength to study this difficult knowledge, make it clear. Tejasvi Navabdhita Mastu. May our intellect be sharp, may we understand clearly. Ma Vidvishavahehi. May we not misunderstand, may there not be any conflicts. Between student and teacher, may there be clear understanding, may the intellect be clear, and may my studies be clear. So that's why before every class in the Chinmaya mission, we chant this Shanti mantra, which is from the Krishna Paksha of the Yajurveda. It is the Shanti mantra of the Krishna Paksha of the Yajurveda. And may this knowledge protect us. Nourish us. So that is what he said. Thank you for this question.
हाँ जी, मुझे तो वही एक ही शांति मंत्र का पता था, जैसे बोलते हैं ना ओम देव शांति, तो इसको भी शांति मंत्र ही कहते हैं।
Yeah.
तो मतलब
there are many Shanti mantras. Each Upanishad has, each Veda has a Shanti mantra. There are 10 Shanti mantras, Neeru is saying. And we say Shanti 3 times because one, there can be a problem in the cosmos from natural forces. Second, there can be problems from my surroundings. And then third can be problems within. So Adi Daivik, Adi Bhutik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. So may there be peace in the cosmos, may there be peace in my surroundings, and may there be peace in my heart. And all can happen only because of God's grace. So that's why we say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti 3 times.
Okay. And there are, to say, as you said, there are more than one Shanti mantras.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I was just,
Purnamada is a-
मुझे सिर्फ एक ही पता था तब तक.
Yeah, Purna Mada is one, Bhadram Karnevi. In Tuesday, in the Upanishad class, you should log in 12 to 1:30. We are starting new Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, and we'll do the Shanti mantra, Bhadram
That one,
Karnevi.
Bhadram Karnevi.
So 12 to 12:30, Jayashree does chanting, and then 12:30 to 1:30, we'll have Upanishad. That is California time. You are in Toronto. So 3 hours later, Auntie comes. So log in on Tuesday. That is a very nice class. If you have time, I don't know how your schedule is. So yeah, there we will be doing a different Shanti mantra. Om Bhadram Karnevi Shrunuyam Deva.
Shanno Mitra.
And then there is Shanno Mitra, Apyayantu Mamangani. You know, there's a lot of Shanti mantras. Each Veda has a different Shanti mantra. Yeah. Yeah, Kerry, you have question or comment?
Well, kind of a comment, I guess, maybe a question, but I was thinking of the Ashwata tree as being a drishtanta, a metaphor
Yes.
for Chinmayananda's BMI chart, and that you have a root which ascends to Om, Brahma, God, and then it comes down, you have these vasanas, and then it comes down further, you have this BMI, the body, mind, and the intellect, and then that branches out even further into all the thoughts, the feelings, and the objects that we all get ourselves involved with. I don't know that is helpful to anyone.
That's perfect. I never thought of that. It's very good thinking. It's very good. That's exactly true. But Gurudev's BMI chart exactly represents this upside down tree where Om is above. Yeah, Lata, if you want to visualize, Om is above, then Vasanas, as Kerry said, then BMI, PFT, OET. So very beautifully, you're so right, Kerry. Thank you. That's very good. Anything else? Satish Bhai, anything you want to add?
Well, just a couple of things. Kerry, thank you for that analogy. I think it's perfect. That's beautiful. It's a great way to think that. And, until now I had this superficial definition of Shastras. And thank you for bringing the actual definition of Shastra. This is the first time I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. I think it's a wonderful thing to know that. And the way I looked at this, your comments about changeless and changing, the only constant thing in the world, in the samsara, is the change.
Yeah.
Right? And as far as the consciousness, the only constant thing is the consciousness. But how we keep identifying with the changing world versus not identifying with the actual consciousness that does not change. So I think we just need to turn our tree upside down.
Yes.
And go towards what is not changing versus what is changing all the time. And identify with the consciousness itself. And like you said, the only two things we're here for, one is to self-realize and to help the world. Those two things. So those are, if we keep those two things in mind, I think it really brings our attention to the right theme of life. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Beautiful comments. Anybody else? Anybody would like to add? Otherwise, we'll do the Aarti. Shaku can please do the Aarti. We'll chant. We'll first Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yamagnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Boliye Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Now we'll do Arati Shri Chinmaya Sadguru ki Divya Rupa Murati Karuna ki Arati Sadguru ki चरणों में उनके शांति समाये शरणागत की भ्रांति मिटाए पाप ताप संताप हरण की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की वेद उपनिषद गीता को गाया धर्म सनातन फिर से जगाया शुद्ध नीति प्रीति शंकर की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की सिद्ध बाड़ी की तपोभूमि में नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे भक्त हृदय आनंद श्रोत्र की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Everybody can please take the आरती। कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। Thank you very much and thank you for your beautiful comments. See you next Sunday. Hari Om.